An increasingly desperate situation in Myanmar 3 days after a massive earthquake that's claimed at least 1,700 lives. But in recent hours, a moment of joy for family members of buried victims. A Chinese rescue team has pulled 4 survivors from the rubble in the city of Mandalay. All had been trapped for 50 to 60 hours. A 5-year-old child and an older woman are among the most recent rescues. More international aid is arriving, but the United Nations warns that shortages of equipment are hindering the relief effort. The humanitarian crisis is deepening. Even before the disaster, Myanmar's 4-year civil war had forced millions to leave their homes.
Help has come too late for many victims. And 3 days after the devastating earthquake, hopes of finding more survivors are fading. While rescuers have not given up, shortages of drinking water, food and medicine are hampering the relief effort. With millions displaced by Myanmar's civil war, already facing homelessness and hunger, the disaster has worsened an already dire humanitarian situation.
We know this is an absolute catastrophe for children and families across Mandalay. Many homes has been destroyed, road and bridge damaged. Many children and families are still missing and traumatized. We need urgent assistance, especially for the children, who often suffer the most in these kinds of situations.
International aid and rescue teams are getting in, but destroyed roads and communication lines mean many communities are hard to reach. The junta says more than 1,700 people have been killed, but the true scale of the disaster is still not clear, and the number is likely to rise in the days ahead.
The earthquake in Myanmar also caused destruction in neighboring Thailand. Authorities there have begun releasing victims' bodies to their families. At least 18 people were killed. 76 construction workers are still missing following the collapse of an unfinished skyscraper in the capital, Bangkok. Well, DW correspondent Tommy Walker is in the Thai capital. Tommy, 4 survivors have been pulled from quake-hit buildings in Myanmar 3 days after the quake. How much hope is left for the people still missing in Myanmar and Thailand?
Well, whatever hope that has been had, it's fastly running out. I mean, these operations normally have a 72-hour window to try and find people who might remain alive, and we're fastly approaching that. It's 1 o'clock local time here, and that was 3 days ago. That was the time when this earthquake struck Myanmar, and those tremors rippled into Bangkok, shaking buildings, and of course causing the collapse of this building behind me in Bangkok, this construction building. So Thai rescuers are desperately using, up to a dozen cranes and other technology, including drones, including dog robots, sniffer dogs, to try and find any survivors under this, amount of rubble. And, the nerves and the emotions are running high today. There's lots of people, as you can see behind me, providing aid, trying to get word from what the update is. Are there any survivors? Are there any bodies being removed from this operation? And it's a tireless effort at the moment.
Now, the ground in Myanmar and Thailand is still not at rest. In Bangkok, where you are, I understand that numerous buildings were again evacuated due to possible aftershocks. How worried are people in the Thai capital right now?
People are worried. As I came to the site today, there was hundreds, thousands of people on Sukhumvit Road, a popular road in Bangkok, who had evacuated banks, hotels, high-rises. People were saying that they felt some aftershocks. So people are concerned. The government has came out and said that aftershocks have been felt, but they pose no impact on Bangkok. So it remains to be seen whether they continue. But all weekend, people are dismayed and shocked that this earthquake that hit Myanmar on Friday has had this impact on Bangkok. And as the city is home to many high-rises, people are concerned about staying so high up because of what they've seen here in Chatuchak.
Now, there's been speculation that some of the building practices in the high-rises that collapsed were irregular or outdated. What more can you tell us about that, Tommy?
As far as we know, one industry minister visited this site over the last few days and suspected some of the crashed steel that was used for this building construction, and has raised concerns of some irregularities. Now, that's all that was said at that time. The government is conducting an investigation and has said that they will provide an update within a week. Of course, that investigation will go on a lot longer. And right now, the main focus is this operation to bring survivors from the rubble. But, you know, there are concerns that this building might have been erected in its former form under these unsafe practices. So it remains to be seen what happens, but that is a concern.
Now, Thailand is among the countries that have sent help to the much harder hit Myanmar. What are you hearing about the aid that's been sent actually reaching the people who need it there, Tommy?
Well, as mentioned, I mean, you know, roads have been damaged, you know, entry points into Myanmar are, you know, unstable. I mean, and also we have to look at the political situation in Myanmar. You know, there's been a brutal civil war for 4 years there, and the country is half controlled by resistant ethnic groups that oppose the military administration. So there's a political context here of whether the military will allow aid through these channels into far-reaching areas within and throughout Myanmar, that in areas that are controlled by these opposition groups. So that is one of the concerns. Thailand, as you mentioned, and other countries, South Korea, New Zealand, Hong Kong, and China have pledged and sent aid there. But it's not as easy as just arriving and driving this aid and driving these rescuers to the affected sites. The country is very badly damaged, and the entry points are, you know, there were concern of whether they can get in because of the war there.
Tommy, thank you very much for now. That was our correspondent, Tommy Walker, in Bangkok.
Thank you.